Alrighty, another live stream. So, as you see in the title, we're talking about power banks again. So, I had a live stream on this wonderful thing. So, we're talking about power banks for heated garments. So, normally when you buy these things, they usually come with one, and in past purchases, I have gotten a few with their own power bank with them. And they're just your basic, everyday power bank, 5 volts, blah, blah, blah. They do the job for what they were intended for. So for, something like this, they were designed to fit in the pocket of the garment, so you're kind of limited on space on how much you can actually fit in one. And this is one of the rare ones that I got that's actually got a fairly decent sized pocket for the power bank. So this is one of them motos. So this is also a unique one because it also calls for the power delivery. If you have a power delivery power bank, it boosts up the voltage like another volt or so, which I think makes it kind of a big difference between using a power delivery power bank and a regular one. I think since it's got the more voltage, it's a little, it seems to heat up a little bit better in my opinion. But I'm not going to go into the specifics of the milliamp hours and stuff like that, because I've done in the past power banks, and if it says it's a 10 amp hour or 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack, you're not going to get that full 10,000 milliamp hours. You can go for the watt hours and stuff like that, but in the end, it doesn't really matter, because you're dealing with something that's boosting up voltage to 5 volts, and if it's a power delivery, it's going to be 9 volts, 12 volts, 15 volts, 20 volts, etc. Blah blah blah. So you're never going to find out unless you actually test it with a power with a electronic load and stuff like that. And then even at that, you're still not going to get a true number, because number one, you don't know the quality of the cells inside, whether they are a true 10,000 milliamp hour, 20,000 milliamp hour, 30, 40, etc. Blah blah blah. Hi Pete, how are you? You don't have the specifics on that, and we don't have the specifics on the circuitry to boost up the power. So you don't know whether it's 80% efficient, 85, 90, 90 plus, blah blah blah. You just don't know that detail unless you're the manufacturer that built the thing in China and stuff like that. So so I'm not going to ramble on about how long they're going to run and stuff like that. But what I am going to go over is the agonizing time it takes to recharge these things. So these are your basic ones. So they're only going to charge at 5 volts at a amp and a half, maybe 2 if you're lucky. Then you get into the the little bit more nicer ones, like this one. So this power bank came with either one of my vests or one of my jackets that have probably come and gone, and of course the power bank outlived. If it was the jacket, the power bank outlived the jacket. And then as of recently, I got this one. It's a Cosmo or something like that. So it's that brand of heated garment, and this one charges at I think a little bit, amp and a half or 2 amps or something like that. But then as of recently, I got the power bank that came with this one, which you all seen in one of my live streams that was over an hour long. And this is the Moto one. So this one is the power delivery one, which the vest triggers the power delivery, gives you a little extra voltage, gives you a little extra efficiency and stuff like that. And I kind of commented on the live stream that I sort of like this one, because since it's power delivery, it does charge a little bit quicker than your standard power banks. So even the old school one, but even though it's power delivery and it's charging at 9 volts, it still takes several hours to charge this. I mean, for 10,000, or I'm just going to do abbreviated 10 amp hour power bank. It takes forever. It takes like 5, 6, 7 hours to recharge these when your garment has fully drained these things, which is kind of ridiculous, especially if you only got like one pack. But for me, I always get more. But on the other hand, I also like to have the garment run as long as possible, so I like to try to get the biggest power bank I can stick in the pocket. So like these are 10 amp hours, this is a 20 amp hour, so you're going to get basically double the run time. And this particular one does fit into the pocket. Now, not all garments this big of a power bank is going to fit in the pocket. Now, like my other ones, it would fit in the pocket, but you would have to fit it at an angle in the pocket, which is really hard on the pocket. And depending on what the material is, you can easily blow through the seams. So this one's about 6 inches long. So that's about the biggest pocket I've ever seen. It's 6 by 3 by 3/4 of an inch. Where your normal ones, they all are about the size of a credit card. So 4 by 2.5 by a little over ½ an inch, something like that. Blah blah blah. So stuff like that. But it's kind of rare that you're going to get a garment that's going to fit that big of a power bank in it. Like this one particularly does, because you can kind of see in that reflective patch there that it pretty much fits in there without much effort, including the cord that's in it. So the problem is if you only got one and you need it, the problem is the agonizing recharge time, which is absolutely ridiculous for these modern power banks. And why I say this is because I got this one that I don't use for garments, but this is an Anchor. This is the 737, and this one charges in a little over an hour, because this one charges at breakneck speed, which why I wanted something a little bit better than what these things can offer. So we'll go over and just briefly look at the pathetic charging currents of these things. I can post again. Try to log on Kickstarter R. What are you doing, Pete? Doing something interesting? So for a baseline, for everybody to know that I'm using a wall wart charger. So it's the Hyperjuice. It's the 65 watt. It's the GAN type wall wart charger. So it does anything from 5 to 20 volts, all that other good stuff. So, of course, another big factor on your charging practices is the kind of cables that you use. So I'm using all the heavy duty cables. I got several different brands that I like. I got the U Green, I got JS Aux, and of course Anchor. So good quality cables, so minimize your losses, maximize your amperage and voltage going to these things. So we'll look at the oldest power bank going. So this is one of the the generic ones, blah blah blah. It is USB-C. So we plug these in. This one is charging at 5 volts. Of course, the voltage drops a little bit. 1.5 amps and about 7.8 watts. So that's what this particular one charges at. So this one is a 10 amp hour. So it's going to take several hours to recharge this one, when it's completely flat. Which is, if, like I said, if you only got one, it's going to be ages, especially if you need to go outside again, out in the cold. and you only got the one power bank. So we got the next one there. This is just the most recent one that I got. Power bank that come with a garment that's been embroidered. So we'll plug this one in, and this one too. It charges at a pathetic 5 volts at 1.23 amps, so 6 watts. So that's pretty pathetic for a power bank for a garment, especially if you're using these things for like skiing and stuff like that, or snowmobiling. And like I said, if you only got the one, you're stuck in the lodge freezing, waiting for your power bank to recharge. And then we got the newest one of the bunch, the Kemimoto, and this is the one I really wanted to get more of, but I also wanted more capacity. So these are wonderful, and if this is all that you wanted, these are decent. So this one is one of the rare breeds where it's going to kick into PD power. So this one kicks in at the 9 volts at almost 2 amps, 17 watts. So that's a decent charge rate for a power bank, which is kind of common nowadays, especially if you've got a PD power bank. But even at this one, when this one is completely flat, like this one is at 0%, it's still going to take about 5 hours for this thing to recharge, even though it's pumping in at 9 volts at almost 2 amps. So, it's okay, but, it's not the greatest thing in the world. If I write more than 3 lines, it's not posting. So, let's see, what was that, Kickstarter? So, something wrong with Kickstarter then. So, get the mods, the IT guys out there, and give them a hard time. So, like I said, decent, but if you only got one, you're still going to wait several hours. Even something like this, this is one of the, I don't remember which brand this is. This is one of the pathetic ones, but I decided to keep it. So, if you've ever seen this, you've probably seen it and know what brand it is. So, it's a 3-port jobber. This is also a PD power one and stuff like that. So, this one calls for the PD power. You see the little PD come on. But even at this one, 9 volts, 1.8 amps, 16 watts. Now granted, this is a 20 amp hour power bank. That is going to take a long time to charge. Even though in a heating garment, you're going to get about 5.5, 6 hours on full heat. So something like this, it's going to help you, but also if you're waiting, if you only have the one, you're kind of screwed, waiting hours upon hours upon hours, waiting for this sucker to recharge. But then we come to something that all these power banks should have, is something like what Anker does. So like I said, this is the Anker 737. This is a 24 or 24,000 milliamp hour pack, so 24 amp hour. Now this one, when you charge this one hauls ass. This one's supposed to charge in about an hour. And when this one starts out, it starts charging at 20 volts. And then we're going to see, you see the amperage going up? So this one's charging at 55 watts. So that will charge this, in a hurry. And anything that charges at, 20 volts, around the 3 amp charge rate, it's going to charge fairly quickly, about an hour or two, which is, I think it's acceptable in these days. Unlike the other ones that are just so pathetic. Why can't Anker make a 24,000 milliamp hour pack charge up in an hour or so, just because it's hauling ass at 20 volts and stuff like that. So something like this, it's going to charge fairly quickly. And then, you know, even the reading on the meter almost matches the reading on the other meter. So 53.6 watts compared to the 54, almost 55 watts. So that is decent, and I know for a fact that these things charge in about an hour or so, which is decent. So with that said, and like I said when I bought this particular heated vest, that, you know, I like that power bank, but when I was shopping around for it, I just happened to went on the Jungle site and I looked up PD power banks and stuff like that, and this one was the first one that come up. So here's the star of the show. It's the INIU, however you want to pronounce that. I don't know. So this is the power bank. It's the BI or B1-B62, and this is a 65 watt, which is kind of rare in a power bank too, other than the Anchor, or I think that one is 100 watt, or at least 85. So, Say Fast Charge Pro. So it's supposed to be 65 watt input. I really don't care about the output because, you know, most people are not going to have, unless you're trying to charge your laptop or your tablet or something like that that needs a lot of power. So based on the dimensions of this power bank, it's going to fit into that pocket of that garment, and it's, you know, 20 amp hour. So let's crack this open and see if this really is a 65 watt power delivery power bank, because I got some other ones here that I got scammed. So that kind. Doshi. This one's supposed to be a 65. This one's supposed to be a power delivery one. It's not a power delivery one. It doesn't. It's just another 5 volt, 10 amp hour power bank that takes agonizingly forever to recharge. Sucks. So let's open this up. So we'll break the seal because it's brand new. We'll take a look at it. We got Pete on that guy. It's that secret viewer. The secret viewer who watches and doesn't post. Come on, leave a comment. Say hello. Say that the stream sucks. Say that your stream is niche and nobody watches it and your subscribers don't, you know, you've got no subscribers and stuff like that. Come on, do something. So we got all the specifications here, I hope. A nice small print where I can barely read it. Okay, so 20,000 milliamp hour, which for those who love the watt hours, it's 74 watt hours. The dimensions are 5.87 by 2.87 by 1.06 inches, or 149 by 73 by 27 millimeters, is about 14 ounces, or 406 grams. And this is, of course, a power delivery. So USB-C in, 5 volts at 3 amps, 9 volts at 3 amps, 12 volts at 3 amps, 15 volts at 3 amps, 20 volts at 2.25 amps, 45 watts max. So that's pretty hefty for a power bank that the majority of the voltages can support 3 amps, which is common for most power banks. They can do 3 amps without much trouble, except for the older ones. They start complaining about 3 amps, so about 2.5 for the older bunch. And so that's USB-C in. So USB-C out, same numbers until we get to 20 volts, where it's 3.25 amps, which is your 65 watts. So that's where you get your 65 watts at the 20 volts. So decent power bank. So it'll charge. You should be able to charge if you got a Crapple. Charge them laptops, the older ones anyway. Not sure about the new M style or M1 chips, Apple stuff. So that's for USB-C 1 out. Then USB-C 2 out is 5 volts, 9 volts, 12 volts at 3 amps. So you got the one port is this big boy, the 65 watts, and the other port, USB-C, is the 36 watts. And then we got the pathetic USB-A. So even at that, it puts out 5 volts at 3, 9 volts at 2, 12 volts at amp and a half. So a total of 18 watts. And then you can use the two outputs at 45 watts and 20 watts. And then output 1 and output 3. So I guess it's the 1 to 2 USB-C ports. So lots of specifications. And this one's got a little niche, little keep your phone upright if you lay up your phone against the thing. So this one at it says charge your power bank, connect the power bank to an adapter with a USB-C cable, and it will start to charge automatically while charging. The last digit will keep blinking until it's solid 100%. To charge it under fast charging mode, both the adapter and the cable are required to be fast charging supported. The indicator will stay on during fast charge. So you need a decent cable to trigger the fast charge, otherwise it charges pathetically slow. So it says 45 watt fast charger. It should charge in about 2 hours, which is acceptable in my opinion. And if you got a 20 watt fast charger, it'll take about 5 hours. And then if you got a pathetic 10 watt, 6.5 hours. So pretty decent numbers here and stuff like that. They're watching you on their TV. Hey, I can go pick MOB up and bug Michael. Give it a go. Okay, well, okay. I need help. Laugh out loud. You need help? Well, I need help too. I'm psychologically unstable. So there. Of course, most tubers are. So this one comes in a nice little carrying bag, which is kind of interesting. And then we got the star of the show. You will come out. Where'd you go? Oh, there you go. So, nice, decent sized power bank. Nice and hefty. There she be. Got a pretty little screen. So we'll do a little size comparison. So here's the other 20 amp hour power bank. So about the same size. Of course, the new one's a little bit thicker. Not by much. But it doesn't really matter when it's going in a pocket. And of course, you know, it's a far cry for these credit card size ones. So, fast charge. So we got your basic USB-A. So that's your 18 watt. Now, from what I heard, these power bank companies are going to start doing away with USB-As because, you know, less and less people are, you know, acquiring USB-A to USB-C or USB-A to USB micro, stuff like that. So I think Anchor is going to be the first one to eliminate all USB-As just because they're so pathetic. And everybody's going to, finally to a standard USB-C. So output number 2. So that's number 3. Number 2 is, you know, your 36 watts max, and then your in and out. That's your big boy, 65 watts. So stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. But what does it charge at? So let's find out what it really charges at and stuff like that. So let's plug in to the big boy and see what it charges at. Oh yeah, we're at 20 volts, 2.2 amps, 44 watts. So that's still going to charge quite rapidly. Not as good as the Anchor, where it was charging at 55 watts. But this thing's also, it might ramp up as time goes on, but who really knows? But if it charges in, 2 hours or so, that's, a lot better than 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, waiting for the damn thing to charge up. So that's pretty good for that. I am happy about that. But like I said, I bought these just for these things. So here's the pocket for that. And of course, that'll be a problem for the heating garment companies. They're going to have to start changing their plug to instead of USB-A, which is probably going to be robust. But if these power bank companies are going to start doing away with USB-A, you won't be able to get these. They'll have to figure out a way to make it USB-C. So, like I said earlier in my other previous live stream, this one does trigger the power delivery, so the little lightning bolt come on. So it's kind of hard to see, but you see the little lightning bolt in the upper right hand corner. So it did trigger the power delivery. So like I said, this one it bumps it up to 6 volts, I think it was. Yeah, 6 volts. When this thing is charging at full bore, heating at full bore, it's 2.2 amps. So that's why you need a fairly hefty power bank for these things. So, that little 10 amp hour power bank, that's only going to last about 2 hours or so. So this one's trying to scratch at 2.3 amps. There you go. So that's quite a bit of power going out. So you need a pretty hefty power bank to support these things, especially if you're going to be out for, over 2 hours. Stuff like that. Yeah, most power banks is a hybrid of either 18650s or flat packs. So this could be thick enough for 18650s, or it could be flat pack. So I know that this is definitely a flat pack. This is definitely a flat pack. The Anchor is 18650s. I know that because there's a cutaway picture on the website that shows these things. That's flat pack. This one is also flat pack. The Duracells, they are 18650s. Stuff like that. So more than likely, and then the like my Nocos, they're flat packs. So if you don't know what a flat pack looks like, this is what they look like. So these are flat packs for Nocos. So basic lithium flat packs, and these are 2 amp hours, I think they are. So you get a bunch of them in parallel or series, depending on how they wire it. Usually if they wire it in series, it's more efficient, and then they let the buck converter do the rest of the work. So I know some people question whether these things can also be like a UPS. So, because I had that CPAP, that huge ass power bank, that's like, it's huge. I don't remember the rating for it, but somebody wanted to know if you could use it as a UPS, and that particular one was a big fat no. So it'll be interesting to find out if these things do support UPS. Of course, the power output will more than likely have to be lower than the will have to be lower than the input power. So like this one's going to charge at 20 volts. So it'll be fun to see if the if it can be a UPS. So something like this, probably yes, I would imagine. So we'll plug into there and we'll put a load in. So just for giggles, we'll put this in too. So we'll crank this up to a typical 2 amps or something like that. Because I know some power banks they will not allow simultaneous input and output at the same time. So this one's not fussing. So this one's charging. I mean, outputting at the 5 volts at 2 amps. But it's still charging, and it's still charging at PD power rate. So the 20 volts at 2.2 amps. So it can support simultaneously at the same amperage almost, 2 amps. So that's pretty good for that one. A question that some people would have. So that's decent for that one. So that's a good one. And we'll just for giggles we'll slide it in this little baggie. Whoop. There's your little carrying case. Take it with you. Keep it with your jacket. Keep it with your vest. That's where that's going to live for a long haul situation. So something like this. So here's the other 20 amp hour power bank that we know doesn't charge that great. Well, it does charge, but it doesn't do a wonderful job. So 9 volts at 1.8 amps or 16 watts. Does it support simultaneous output? So one thing I noticed right off the bat, the PD light went out, so it does not charge PD power, but it's still accepting a charge at a pathetic 5 volts. Actually, it's not really charging that great, about 300 milliamps, and this thing's not even on yet. What did it do? Fall asleep? Yep. Yeah, won't support that. It don't like that one bit. Yeah, it's not having it. So this one don't like to be a UPS. So that particular one is not a UPS happy one. So that's a big fat no for that one. Let's see. Let's try the Kemimoto. Is it a UPS capable? So we're charging at 9 volts, 17 watts. Does it support output at the same time? Yes, it does. But it's not charging at PD power because of the little fleck. I'm going to call it a fleck. The little fleck's not on. So it's not charging that. And you can tell because it's only 5 volts at an amp. So this can be used as a 1 amp UPS. So that's sort of a plus for that, but it's not great. Of course, we got the other one there, the Covnolo or whatever, however you want to pronounce that. So this one charges at 5 volts at 1.3 amps to support simultaneously output. No. The output is so marginal, it's just enough to light the meter, but not enough to get it to fire. So that's a no for that one. So UPS power is actually a hit or a miss, depending on the model. So here's the other power bank. So your typical 5 volt at 1.6 amps is the UPS. So this one did boot. Nope. Will not support simultaneous output. So that's a big fat no. The Anchor, that should be yes. So this one's going to boost up to 20 volts. and then it's going to ramp up the current to 55 watts. This support, this one should support UPS. Yes, it does. Does it fire? Yep. So charging at 1.9, 38 watts, 2 amps. So you can get at least 2 amps in and out at the same time. So that's pretty cool for that. So because it's an Anchor, it's awesome. So definitely a winner, and definitely a winner for the other one. Good thing I got 2. So these are both winners in my book. Good to have. So if I had my way, if I could turn back time, go in my TARDIS and go back in time, I would definitely not buy. Wouldn't have bought the other ones. So that's that one. So here's another one. This one is way too big to fit in any kind of pocket, and this is this is an easy longer. So this one, it's got such a pathetic font and you can barely read it. Total input. So this is another 18 watt max, which really sucks. It is a PD power bank, but it's one of them pathetic ones. So it goes at 9 volts at 1.8 amps or 16 watts. Is it a UPS kind? Probably not. Okay, PD is still enabled. But it's not charging at, it went down to 5 volts. But it is UPSing, but it's not happy about it. It's not happy about it. Then we got the Duracell. So this one is one of the rare ones, Duracell main, where it's got USB-C. The other ones I have are USB-A's, so that's kind of sucky. So, not USB, I mean USB micros. It's like, so I know this one is not a PD power bank, so this one's just your basic 5 volt at amp and a half. 7 watts, a pathetic 7 watts. This is a this is another 20 amp hour. So this one will take forever to charge, over 5 hours, because it's a 72 watt hour power bank. But does it support UPS, which is kind of handy for some people. See if it turns on. Nope, not UPS happy. Not having it. So that's pretty lame. Let's see. I know another thing, which is kind of weird, that I kind of discovered. And sometimes these power banks, you can sort of coax them to charge at a higher charge rate, which is kind of odd. So let's see. What did I do with that? Here it is. So I discovered this, especially with this one. When I was playing around with this one, if you screw with the voltage, you can make it. You could pretty much make it charge at a better rate, and which is kind of odd. So let's see. I need regular power. Where's my little extension? There it is. Yeah. So we'll plug this back in, so we don't have any weird power issues here. So here's a USB, like I guess you could call it a boost converter. So we're going to set this at 5 volts. And then we'll plug in a something like this thing. And then I need a cord. So not that one. Need a regular one, USB A, EU. So I know that with this one, if you play with the freaking voltage, you can get it to charge at a better rate. So like right now it's charging at an amp. But if I start creeping up the voltage, actually I should do the other way. I should do it this way. So you can see that the voltage is going up. So this thing is really voltage. I know these things are really voltage sensitive on how much they actually charge. So 5 volts at, you know, half an amp. Of course, this one's probably almost charged. But if I start creeping up the voltage, it's only going to go so high. But I can trick it to come in at a better amperage. But this one's almost charged, so it's not having it. But I know these other pathetic ones that's supposed to be PD powered, they don't. They do not like. They're very voltage sensitive. So this one's at 4.7. So now we're at 5 volts at 700 milliamps. We're at an amp. Of course, this one's not behaving like I had it doing it. Put it back the other way. It's kind of weird. So like now it's charging at 1.8 amps. So before it wasn't even doing that. Because it was like at 4, it was charging at an amp earlier. But if I start creeping up the voltage, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, pretty much maxes out at almost 2 amps before it gets triggered to shut off. So I always thought that was kind of weird on some of these things. So if your power wall wart is not, you know, up to snuff with the voltage, it kind of doesn't do very well. Of course, it's probably a good way to blow it up too. So I know this one was voltage sensitive. So 1.4. Then if I start creeping up, 1.6, 1.8. 2 amps. So almost an amp difference if you screw with the voltage. Just one of them weird oddities I've run into with these things. So we've already played with that one. How about this one that I just recently got? Not the Kenai Moto one, huh? This other one. Because that one's almost flat. One 1.3, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. 1.8, 1.9. So just playing with the voltages, you can almost get another amp out of it. But even at that, you know, it's not everybody's going to have all this weird crap to play with this stuff, you know. So if you're just stuck at a, you know, regular wall wart, that's going to, you know, if you're lucky, peeing up power and stuff like that, you're not going to get the full benefit out of everything without the apparatus and contraptions to trick it. But you know, like most people, they're not gonna have this crap to play around and stuff like that. So I guess the only other thing is, you know, for your Apple users or Crapple users, whichever you like, do these power banks make these Apple devices go into the 9-volt charge range? So I got the older stuff, so you know, this is the 12 Pro Max, blah blah blah. Still got the lightning cable and crap like that. So usually when these are charging, because they're a little bit more modern, they trick the power bank to come in at 9 volts. Or your wall charger. So it starts out at 5 volts at 1.8 amps, and then it switches to 9 volts at 2.3 amps or 19 watts. So that's from your household PD power bank charger, or your Hyperjuice or your GAN type charger. And of course, you know, something like this, your regular 5-volt charger that's non-PD power. 5 volts at 2 amps. Stuff like that. So that's that one. How about the old, really old one? To me, old. Probably going to be the same thing. 5 volts at actually, this one is so old it doesn't even like not Apple happy. And we got this one. 5 volts at 2. 2.1. Switches to 9. So it is Apple happy. Of course, on the power bank, it does show it PD power. So 17 watts. Then we got this one that I just recently got. This one's a non-PD power, so that one doesn't even talk to it. How about the PD on? Of course, these ones might be so down it might not trigger them. 5 volts at 2.3. Should switch over, and it does. So that's good for that one. Of course, we'll try this one. The newest of the bunch. Should be Apple compatible. 5 volts, 2. Then it's a switch. 9 volts. 2.1. So that's Apple happy. And of course, Anchor. They've been with Apple for a long time, so this one will automatically do it. Switches over. And of course, my iPad, that's going to be about pretty much the same thing. So that's that. So that's a pretty good little demonstration of power banks. Of course, I got a plethora of them. But like I said, these were intended. These new ones were intended for the heated garments, which is what I got them for. So I don't think I ever stuck it in the pocket. So we'll plug it in like you're going to go out with it. And stuff it in the pocket. So no hassles. Fits in the pocket nice. That's all I really wanted. It's still thin enough Of course, this one is at a different location than most of my other heated garments, where they're on your side, so just above your hips. So that's where this particular battery lays in that. So that fits nicely. Which is what I wanted it for. So a 20 amp hour battery pack. Of course, like I said, since that one's the same size, that one fits nice. I did used to use these things. I used to shove these into the pockets, but this one is really, yeah, you're really torquing it. It does fit, but I also didn't plug it in, so that one's a little tight. I would not use that regularly, just because it would probably tear this reflective fabric back out. And of course, this one's way too honking big. So I got the maximum size for these heated garments and stuff like that. So that's pretty good. Of course, now that it's winter time here in the upper United States, you know, so these come in handy. I wore this all day yesterday because I was finishing up lights and stuff like that. Let's see, what's Pete talking about? Let's see, that would be great. It takes over one thing. Excellent. My powerhouse will charge and power at the same time. Okay. Be good backup for alarms, etc. Yeah. Sent you a pic off my powerhouse battery 4200. Check your email. Check your email. 9062 USA seconds at my electronics shop, not boxed. Let's see. What's Pete got? Peter Hall, power bat. Oh boy. Oh. Now, come on, preview. Oh baby. Oh yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. So this is what Pete is showing me, his cool powerhouse. Look at that. Oh, that's an inverter type. Oh, that's cool. How many watts is that? Is that enough to like power a coffee pot or something like that? That's pretty awesome. Of course, I got inverters here. I got a, like I showed in one of my videos there, I got that true sine wave guy. That thing is awesome. 'Cause I used to have that square wave crap. Don't buy square wave inverters. They absolutely freaking suck. Because I had one of the rare power outages I had. I used the square wave inverter just to run the TV and the clock, and the freaking clock was advancing, kind of like that other clock that was advancing at every 40 seconds. So a square wave inverter will trick your clocks to pretty much trigger at every 45 seconds. And I was like, I think it was like 7 o'clock in the afternoon in the evening. And then I looked up like a short time later, and it was like 9:15. But I looked outside the window, and it's like the freaking sun's still out. So I'm like, don't use square waves. And in reality, the cost to make a square wave and a pure sine wave is not that much more money. I mean, yeah, the manufacturers screwed the customer, you know, for profit because, ooh, it's true sine wave. It's like, but to build the damn thing is not that much more money. 10 amps, 240 volts, 80 watt, 120 max. Okay, well, maybe a small, one of the, probably maybe the little 4-cup jobs. Might be able to, or a teapot anyway. Kind of like the one that I had featured earlier. That don't draw much power. At least not enough power. At least it's under 900 watts. So 80 watts. So that's pretty much good for a laptop. laptop charging, or Starlink or something like that. So that's pretty cool. And check out them other pictures that he had. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool too. So that's a pretty big brick. Whoops. That's pretty cool. I like that little thing. It's kind of like the, I know a lot of these power banks slash stuff are starting to come with inverters in them. See, we got DC out, USB-C, and of course the USB-A's. So that's pretty neat. Pretty neat little inverter power bank. I like it. I like it, and then I can share all that. So that's pretty cool. So what do we got? We got 2 viewers. Who is that mystery viewer that shows up every week? So, got lots of power banks. I got more than I need and probably have to start giving them away. Especially these little guys. Except for the Kemimoto one, because that's a PD one, so I'll keep that one. The rest of these guys I really don't care about. I'll just throw them in a box. Unless I figure out something to do with them. Thought about maybe doing something solar with them. But a 10 amp hour, especially in the Northeast, you ain't going to get that kind of power to recharge that damn thing. The Masked Watcher. Who is the Masked Watcher? We want to know who you are. Who's the Mystery Watcher? I'll pull all my crap away. It does come with a decent cable. Pretty hefty. Of course, you don't know if it's all insulation or actual wire in there. But like I mentioned, charging wire, your charging cables make a huge difference. And you get the crap ones, they don't charge worth the crap. 9:30 p.m. here, so it's probably about bedtime, right? Of course, Pete stays up late. He's up early, too. So I got at least 5 good power banks that charge at a decent clip. So that's good. Starts recharging these suckers. Because I drain them all on purpose just to do a demonstration for a YouTube live stream that 2 people are watching. I must be insane. All this entertainment, nobody watches it. Night Stalker. I got my Night Stalkers. It was so funny when I made a video of that thing and the damn thing freaking burned out right on camera. That was pretty interesting. At least I got one for free. They replaced it with no problems. But it's one of them typical things where they wanted proof that the damn thing wasn't working. So these companies are starting to get a little smart where they want a video. They want to actually see it not working. Of course, I provided a video of when it quit. Right on camera. Freaking just up and died. So I gotta get these charging because I need these in about 2 hours. So I don't need that big honker. I need this one. Still got to do some touch-up on a big outdoor. So Christmas, I think I pretty much finished all the decorating outside. It took me a lot longer this year just because I'm not laid off anymore. So I work all year now, so I only got limited time on the weekdays and weekends to play with Christmas lights. It's not like I got a solid week or 3 days at least to play around outside all day long. Especially when it was 70, 75, almost 80 degrees outside, and I'm putting lights on the tree or ornaments on the tree in shorts and a sleeveless shirt, which was friggin' awesome. Not many years that I've done that. I mean, I have had many years where it was, you had to wait till it warm up, or at least if the sun was out, so you didn't freeze to death putting out lights in the wind. Because that's one thing I don't do is put up lights out in the wind, because you know you got to be up on a ladder, 11 foot off the ground. So next live stream is going to be an interesting one for the Christmas buffs, because I bought something new. So this year I spent a lot of money on friggin' Christmas lights or ornaments. So I'm up to $1,100 on just ornaments and new lights. So the ornaments for the big tree, that was over $600, and I just spent another $500 because I had to retire some lights because the wire was just so crappy, because they're China Pride, and they were the newest of the lights. The Trippy Drippies that I put on, that I tested, but I didn't test the ones for the other tree. I tested the ones for the big tree. So for whatever reason, that wire is a little bit better, but the newer lights, fucking wire was just absolute crap. It was when I first got them, the wire was so stiff on them. Just for shits and giggles, I put that liquid electrical tape where the two wires go into each tube to try to reinforce that. But guess what? That wire is so crappy, it still broke. And it breaks where you can fix it, but it's just it ain't worth my time fixing it. So I bought new lights, C9 style, that you need to make so I'll have to make a custom stringer for them. So I'll have them hopefully next week sometime, or this week. So I'll show them off in the next live stream. So, let's see. We've been going for a little over an hour, so that's good enough for most. I still got my secret viewer. So Pete, thanks for watching. As for the secret viewer, same to you. Thanks for watching, and that's it for this particular live stream. We'll see you in the next live stream next week. So take care.